what I would love to get everyone's thoughts on is the fact, and we knew this. I mean, we knew about this ages ago, but the fact that the bread scene in the movie is not something that happened like 6 years ago or whatever. It's something that has happened fairly recently, since they didn't hire young actors to play like young Peeta and young Katniss. It's actually just Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson in the scene. And we've known about this for a while just because of the Entertainment Weekly photos, but I would love to just get everyone's thoughts on this. I'm one of those people who don't like this just because it doesn't make sense to me. Katniss, if she's 15 or 16 when the scene is taking place in the movie, I mean, she's been hunting and gathering for a really long time. It doesn't make sense to have her starving underneath the tree. So I'm thinking they might change a lot of things for the movie. But I really think that this scene is so much more powerful with little kids. There's something like so beautiful about a little boy, doing this great act of kindness for a little girl that he just knows from school. And it really sets up sort of the fact that he has had feelings for Katniss for a really long time, like ever since he was really little. And I think aging up this scene, so to speak, kind of takes away that sort of beautiful side of the story. But what do you guys think? I would love to hear what your thoughts are. So anyone, feel free to just jump in.
I thought that it was hard to see because it's low quality, but I've noticed that when Jennifer Lawrence doesn't wear makeup, she looks a lot younger. So I'm kind of hoping that they're going to say that incident took place like a couple years or a few years before the Hunger Games when she was maybe like 14 or something like that. I mean, obviously it'll have lost the emotion that you talked about with them being little kids, but
right.
Having to just deal with the fact that they're using the present-day actors for that scene, I mean, I'm hoping that they're going to be able to do something to make her look younger, make him look younger, so that they can still convey the scene, but without using kids.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah. I'm with you, by the way, Crystal. I just want you to know that. 100%. I'm very caught up with that scene, and I really hope you're right.
Because clearly they are showing Katniss hunting and trading in the Hob and stuff like that in the movie. So it's like they're setting setting her up to be this hunter that we all know. So it's, I don't know, it's just kind of bizarre. But I'm thinking that they might, I don't know, maybe they're going to have it take place like during a particularly bad winter. And maybe there were not any animals to kill. I have no idea. But I do think it kind of takes some of the power of that scene away. And what I'm afraid of is, and I know I shouldn't care about this, but so many movie reviewers are so critical, and I just feel like a lot of people might see this as being kind of too, like, schmaltzy and too perfect in a way, like, oh, there's this boy, he likes her, she was really hungry, he gave her some bread, what a coincidence, the next day he's reaped with her. And I can just sort of foresee some people just not liking that or thinking that it's just too, like, I don't know, there's a word that I'm thinking of, but I can't figure out what it is. But it's just too sort of neat of a coincidence. It's just, I don't know. I don't know.
I think, if you watch it, I don't know, watching it, like Crystal said, it's low quality, so it's tough to tell.
Right.
And, of course, then you have the cuts that you don't know. You don't know what goes together and how it flows, and how much is missing from in between, and what sequence are they in, as far as that goes. But I think watching it, I don't know. I get the feeling looking at Jennifer in that scene in the rain that she does appear like she's younger, like they're making her look younger. But I know. And I think that Josh does as well. I think with him on the porch, I don't know. I don't get just how he's standing. I think they're trying to make them appear younger. But I have a feeling even whether it's a year before or 2 years before, I have a feeling that they will do something along the lines of, you get the little either it be a flashback or it be shown at the somewhere towards the beginning, and then you have so many years later, that thing pops across the bottom of the screen.
Right.
But I don't think they're going to put them in the same time frame. I think they're at least going to put, a year apart and whatnot. And if they change, it's not, like you said, obviously it's not going to be as powerful as it was in the book, but if they distance it from the games, they can also distance it from her learning to hunt as well.
Right.
So,
does anyone have, sorry, I'm sorry, you can finish.
No, you're fine.
No, I was just going to say, does anyone, and maybe this will be sort of the last thoughts that we had. Oh, and I do want to mention that Natalie from Crushable is here. I'm sorry, I didn't introduce her. Hi, Natalie.
Hi, guys. Yeah, sorry for my lateness.
I'm glad that you could make it. Does anyone have any theories as to why they would have made this change? Why don't you think why didn't they hire young actors to portray this scene, as like a flashback?
For me, I think it's because, if you take their ages, they're supposed to be, 11 or 12 in the book? At that point, it's kind of hard to find somebody that looks so similar to that person, because when you go from 11 to, 15, I don't think there's too much of a difference in what you look like. You know what I mean? Like, if you take someone when they're, 6, and then you compare them when you're 18, you can see that it's the same person, but it's still pretty easy to cast somebody totally different and make you think that that's that person, But if it's only a difference of 4 or 5 years, I think it's a little harder to make that believable.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Are there any final thoughts about this new TV spot or about the bread scene?
We're not going to survive the film, and that's it.
I feel like I'm in the minority, and I'm just tweeting this now, but I really want that bread scene in there, and I don't care if it's schmaltzy. To me, that had a strong emotional connection for me, and I'm really pulling for it to be good and to be in there, because I felt it gave, and I know what some people are saying, that it's very convenient, but it gave a real context for Katniss's reaction when Peeta is chosen as the other tribute. It's just sort of like, of all people, why is it him sort of thing, because she's embarrassed. But lo and behold, it's actually worked out very nicely for her that he was the other tribute. So that one incident with the bread probably changed both of their fates for the rest of their lives. Think of it that way.
This actually makes me wonder how they're going to, because they can make Peeta the boy with the bread, but how are they going to make Peeta the dandelion in the spring, I'm having a hard time picturing how they're going to play that part out, because the dandelion part is tied directly to the bread thing because it happens the next day, right?
Right. That's what I was wondering, too.
I think Peeta, I'm looking at the picture right now from Entertainment Weekly, and he really does look aged down from, the things that we've seen now, seeing him in the training center. If you look at the still, his pants are baggy to the point where they're, hanging over his shoes. You can tell they're too big for him. The perspective of the shot makes him look smaller than he is. I was really, for about 2 hours today, I was convinced that Lionsgate had trolled us all and had kept the identities of 2 younger actors hidden and were going to surprise us. But I think it's time to come to terms with the fact that they're going to be, it looks like 14, but maybe will still surprise us. If you look at Deathly Hallows Part 2, how they aged down Alan Rickman for the flashback scenes in the memory, I think that, they're not going to get to 11, but they can definitely do some amazing things in post-production to make these 2 look younger.
I have to defend myself because of Adam's tweet. I was not saying that I don't want to see the scene in any way. I'm just saying, even though they probably did make an effort to age them down, and I can see it, most of us are guessing that they'd be about 14. And just think for a quick second about what you looked like at 14 and ask yourself if they look 14. And to me, the answer is no. And I'm not, criticizing them in any major way. I'm just saying that I think that will confuse a lot of people if they don't specifically say that this happened when they were 14.
Well, I like what Lauren Holmes, one of our tweeters who listens to the show, said. She said, can't they do the Benjamin Button thing? There you go. Solves the whole problem. They could make Brad Pitt and Stephanie. They could make these guys.
They could also, change the age Katniss's father dies at, because if he was providing for the family until she was 14, she might not have had to take out Cesare or anything like that. So maybe by changing the place where he fights it, it'll change the place where Katniss needs to have these skills to provide food for the family.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And that somehow might tie into all of that explosion talk that we heard while they were filming, if maybe they are actually showing what caused his death. I actually think, Shylah, that you might be right. I guess we'll have to wait to find out, but I think that you might be spot on with that prediction.